Hey, I'm Amar.
And I'm Matthew.
And this is Our Side of the Coin. Hey guys, welcome back to another week on Our Side of the Coin. This week we're going to be talking about self-driving cars. It's not really so much a debate, but more about specifically a scenario that happened in Arizona last year in which a self-driving Uber hit a woman who was jaywalking at night. And who's really liable for this? So what's your thoughts on this, Matthew?
Okay, so there are three parties who are participating in this scenario. There's the woman crossing the street, the woman crossing a freeway at night. There is the car driver.
Yeah.
There was a person in the car, right?
Yes, there was a person behind the
and
wheel.
then there is the company who developed the software and created the car. Yep. Those are the three people who could be liable for this. And there's a bunch of complicating factors here because my first instinct is that the woman would not be at fault because usually the way these kind of laws work, if I remember...
It's pedestrian first, yes.
Yeah, it's pedestrian first, and then if you're a driver, you have to watch out for them.
Yeah, and I know from Michigan law at least, and this happened in Arizona, but in Michigan, if you hit a pedestrian, regardless of whether they are jaywalking or not, you are at fault. Yeah. The pedestrian has the right of way no matter where they are crossing. This woman made the decision to cross a freeway in the middle of the night when it was dark.
Which is questionable at best.
Yes.
But still in the eyes of the law.
Yes. I guess what we're looking at really here is... what was the emergency driver in the self-driving vehicle doing at the time that prevented her from basically, or him or her, sorry, I don't know the gender of the driver, but from stopping the vehicle? They said that as soon as they had hit the woman, they looked up and figured out, they hit a person, and the car kept going.
Yeah.
There were no records from the car and the company releasing that the car had even detected the person crossing at night.
So, it's either negligence from the driver or it is negligence from the creators of this vehicle because ideally the vehicle should have been able to spot the person. Right,
but the thing is, the driver was either distracted or something else was going on, right?
Did the person see the person? Did the driver see the person?
No, the driver saw the person. Must have been doing something else because they said that they saw it after it was too late, after the collision.
But that could have been from negligence, so you don't know whether it was too dark to see.
Well, even if this driver was distracted, right? Here's where the other part comes in. The point of self-driving, one of the main features of self-driving cars that many self-driving car companies boast is that, now you can use your phone while you're in your car, right? Now you can, do what you need to do, and the car will take care of it for you. That's, kind of one of the points of self-driving cars is that you don't have to focus on the road anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And so is the negligence of the emergency driver really at fault here, or was she just modeling what a real-life scenario would look like her job was supposed to be? Because,
if it's not the person...
Well, then again, this was also an Uber, right? So was that... I'm not sure if this car was picking up somebody, or if it was...
The car was... Oh, is there another driver? I don't think there was. I think it was just the person being picked up.
The car is the Uber, and this person...
Yeah.
Okay.
So the person wasn't even driving.
Yeah, so the person is an Uber. The reason people take Ubers is because they don't have to drive and they can focus on
possibly intoxicated.
Possibly intoxicated. That's
okay. So the person would not be at fault because they're not responsible for the vehicle. Okay. But is it the car company's fault? Because the car company can't possibly think of all scenarios.
Then should they be releasing their cars?
There is no way to make a car 100% foolproof.
Okay. Yeah.
So should the car... So you're saying...
But somebody's at fault here. Something happened. Somebody got killed. The woman died.
The woman did die.
But pedestrian first, right?
The car did not detect the person. And you're saying that it should have. Okay, so there was a brief interruption. So we took advantage of it to look up some more details. And it turns out that there was an emergency backup driver, as the New York Times described it, in the backseat. So that person could be liable.
They didn't say in the backseat. It was just an emergency
in the
backup.
seat.
Yeah, and they didn't necessarily say which seat it was or what he was doing during the time. They didn't really specify if he was supposed to be actually monitoring the car.
What else is a backup driver?
But, he's
sit there and look nice?
Yeah, I guess.
That's possible. Isn't
that the point of self-driving cars?
They're the emergency backup. In case something goes wrong, they're supposed to...
Okay, but be
he's
going 40 plus miles an hour, right?
40 is
night.
Not that fast.
Okay, but it's night.
It is night.
The picture did not have any street lamps.
Yeah.
Right?
So, what you're saying is the person might not have been able to see...
So, in a regular scenario, this person may have hit the other person regardless. So, the woman jaywalking may have caused her own...
But she wouldn't be Okay, well, here's the thing. Are we talking about who is legally liable or who is liable?
Okay, I guess we'll stick with...
Whose fault was it or who's legally liable?
Let's stick with who's legally liable.
Okay. It's not the woman because she's dead.
Okay, that's fair.
And also, yeah, I don't know about Arizona, but Michigan...
But is it the car's fault for not being able to detect it?
Or is the driver's fault for not being able to detect it?
Because the point of this technology is to further and...
Well, here's the thing. Either way, it is the company's fault because the worker is working for the company. If a worker working for you commits a crime, is the company responsible or is the person responsible?
Isn't that already answered by law? Isn't the company responsible?
The company is responsible for a person's actions.
Usually.
So how far? Okay.
It depends, but then the company can...
on company time. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, but the company can... But thing is, what charges are they facing here? That's the question. Like, yes, the woman was killed, but like, on what account is it?
I don't think the charges change who is liable. You talk about punishment after you talk about who's guilty.
Right, but we determined the company has some liability.
The company has some liability. Is it the... Okay, but here's like the interesting part. Is it the emergency backup driver's fault, or is it the designers of the car's fault?
It's a mix, isn't it? Isn't it both their faults now? Because the driver should have been aware of his surroundings regardless. I don't know how far... I mean, yeah, you're right, 40 miles an hour.
But in theory, the car should be better equipped to deal with that kind of stuff. Because it has the same, if not more, sensors than a person. Because the person has their eyes and the headlights. The car has the headlights and a visual camera, and it's got infrared sensors and radar and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So it's slightly the designer's... Well, so was it a code fault? I feel like we don't have enough information to go off at the current moment.
Yeah.
Maybe we can, so we know the company and the driver have some sort of fault.
Yeah.
Right? And...
if you had to pick one, would it be the driver's fault or the company's fault?
I would...
Because the driver did not detect the person, and the car did not detect the person. Should the car have detected the person if it was good software?
The purpose of the driver was to ensure that if the car malfunctioned, right, then the driver should be able to save whatever is going on or prevent whatever accident is going on as well. So he's liable, but he's not liable by law.
Is he more liable?
I think he's liable within the company because he was unable to perform the job his company had assigned him.
So,
however, the company is at fault for hiring somebody who was unable to complete their test. So legally, the company is more liable. Do
the designers of the car have any responsibility at all for not being able to create a car that would detect the person walking? Because it presumably had headlights on.
Yes.
And the way motion works,
headlights on,
the headlights should have been in front of the person before the person crossed. So there should have been some time.
Yes. For the car to detect
the person. Cars have instant reaction time.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
way quicker than...
And according to the laws... Okay, according to the logs of the car, according to the article we read by Business Insider, the car logs showed no sign of slowing down. Which the way I'm interpreting... The car did not
detect the person.
Yeah.
Or if it did detect the person, it took no precautionary measures to stop the collision.
So, if the car should have noticed, but it didn't, wouldn't you say that
But then that's where the driver comes in. The driver should know now. Now the question is, like... If human eyesight failed, it's still both their faults.
Yeah,
both are at fault. Who's at more at
fault? Yeah.
I think then you kind of have to go a little bit further into it, saying that the company did hire this person, and this person the person was not able to complete their job. Therefore, the company is at fault for not finding reliable work source.
So now you're saying the hiring department of Uber is at fault.
The Uber in general is at fault.
Okay, Uber in general is at fault. If you had to... I mean, okay, I guess I could see... You could just keep going up the chain forever. You could say, the person in 1860 who gave birth to to the founder of Uber is at fault.
Yes, but speaking more currently...
Yeah, in the short run.
The company is legally at fault. However, was it really the company's or the driver's fault, morally and, ethically?
So now we're going back to, was it the pedestrian's fault?
Yes, now we determined... We got... pretty much covered the legal side. Let's talk about, did this person cause her own death? She did walk out in the dark on that was like a 2-lane free highway, right? It looked like?
Yeah, it was
45 miles an hour.
It was a highway.
45 miles an hour, meaning most cars will be going 50.
60. I don't know.
I mean, yes, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Most cars, they're going pretty fast. And she had to have crossed for a reason.
But there was looking at the picture, there was literally a crosswalk like 300, 400, 500 feet up. So was this person just doing it out of... Like, that car didn't even bother to stop. I'm assuming there was like a green light at the intersection above, right? So therefore, it wasn't even starting to stop because back there, about 1,000 feet before a traffic light, most cars will start to stop at least.
Yeah.
Or at least...
It hadn't detected an obstacle, so it had no reason to stop.
And the light was green as well, which it probably detected.
Yeah.
Was it possible you think it's sensory overload?
Probably not.
No?
Probably not.
Okay, well, so this woman jaywalked. So is she technically... Like, legally she's not, because pedestrians always have right of way in state law, but did she cause her own
Here's
death?
another question. If the pedestrian was crossing at the legal crosswalk, would she have gotten still hit by the car?
No, because the car should have been able to detect the
But the car should have been able to detect the person.
But
so what makes you say
the
that
car has better programming at like more structured? It would like okay, so it wasn't able. Maybe it was a fault in the code. We don't know, right? Because we're not obviously programmers at Uber.
I mean, I don't
or
think they
programmers at for whatever this company.
Yeah,
and they probably figured it out what code went wrong or whatever, right? But if the more structured it is, these cars might work better in cities than they work in like rural areas where people are more liable to like. Or more likely to cross roads at random points, right? Because of lack of intersections. But in a city, it's very structured. The car knows the timing of the lights. The car knows where the crosswalks are based on GPS stuff, based on AI, based on stats.
But I mean, you were saying like the crosswalk was.
But if the woman did cross at the crosswalk, this would not have been her fault at all.
Yeah,
like the blame would have been 100% off of her. It would have been completely on the company because that's something that like. Okay, so because even as a normal driver, right, without a self-driving, like, you can accidentally hit somebody. Imagine you're going 45, 50 down a road, right, and so all of a sudden a person comes up and you see them, like, 150 feet before you hit them, that you might not have enough time to, like, slam on the brakes completely, because by the time you're done reacting, it's, like, 0.4 seconds or something, right? By the time you start pressing on the brakes, 0.4 seconds are gone, now 175 feet left, right?
Like, somebody could just jump out of you and you can't...
Yeah, exactly, you can't do anything. A deer jumps out at you, a person jumps out at you, gone, right? Yeah. Can't really do that. I mean, that wasn't the case with the car, right? But what I'm saying is, like, if this scenario happened, if the person was stopping at the crosswalk, you know to pay attention at the crosswalk for pedestrians. Like, the car will know to pay attention.
The car should have been paying attention anyway, because the crosswalk was within sight.
Not that far, not close enough.
But it was still
how close are you looking at a crosswalk, right? Like, you're looking at it as you're approaching the light, around 500 feet to the crosswalk. This car is about, like, 1,000, maybe 2,000 feet behind, right? So, I mean, I wouldn't start looking at a crosswalk like 2,000, 3,000 feet.
I guess, theoretically, the car should be paying attention.
Theoretically. But, like, comparing it to human nature, right?
I mean, a human should be paying attention at all times.
Yes, but, like, you can't stop sometimes.
Yes, but you can't...
This car made no attempt to stop.
A car can pay attention all the time.
Yes, because humans, we have a tend to...
So why would it pay more attention at a crosswalk?
Because it's more structured for the code? I don't know.
I think I could say which is... Because, like, a crosswalk is, like, white bar, stop, white bar.
Yeah, way more indicators to find, whereas one person, perhaps wearing dark clothing at night, right, is a lot harder to detect, even for humans, even for sensors, right? And if you're moving so fast, maybe it's so hard to detect something that's not moving very quickly.
Are you required to stop at a crosswalk if there are no people? It'd be a red light. Yeah, it'd be a red light. Okay, yeah. Car would have stopped. So I guess our consensus is the woman caused her own death.
Yeah. But the company is still legally at fault.
Company is legally at fault.
Because
they should have designed their cars better. And the emergency driver should have been paying more attention.
That emergency driver's probably not with Uber anymore.
Well, probably not. Probably for
not.
PR.
Yeah, it was not very good for your company in general.
Also, how at fault is the emergency driver? Because if the way it looks like it, that the car did not detect the person at all. And it was dark. So what chances did the person have of seeing the person? Did the person have? And what chance did the backup driver have of seeing the pedestrian?
That's what I was kind of mentioning at earlier. If the car wasn't able to see the pedestrian before, what makes it think, even if the driver was paying attention, there's a very good chance that if the car was, maybe the car literally was unable to sense something. Like, not because the sensor broke, because it was unable to because of the conditions it was in. Right? Dark, night, right? Maybe dark clothing in front of it.
And the car shouldn't be driving.
That what you think? The car should not be on the road.
Well, if it is in conditions, if there are conditions at which the car can't operate,
No, but it's operating.
Yeah, if the car can't see a pedestrian, then you shouldn't be on the road.
This
If there's a blizzard outside and you can't see,
this pedestrian was
you should be able to see them still.
Would a human see him?
That's what I'm asking. If the human had no chance of seeing him, then you can't really put blame on them.
Yeah, but essentially that's what you're doing to the car, though. You're putting blame on it because
if the car had no possibility of seeing them, then yeah. The car had no possibility of seeing them, then they should not be on blame.
Are we treating the self-driving car like a human driver? Because if yes, then this car maybe wasn't able to see the person in time and unable to decide this is just a tragic accident, right? And nobody should really be that much at fault.
That's reasonable. I can go with that.
Okay, right. But the woman shouldn't have been jaywalking is another consensus we've come to, right?
Yeah.
Well, tune in next week for our next episode, guys. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, comment, like, do whatever. Just please help us.
It'll be a lot better, we promise. That was bad.